Unlikely ally coming to the aid of Democrats in their fight over the government shutdown. The key player that could help with their plan to restore health insurance to millions of Americans.
Plus, a live look at a Virginia federal courthouse where former FBI director just pleaded not guilty to charges he lied to Congress.
And a local county commission works to permanently remember slain conservative activist Charlie Kirk. WUFT Midday starts now.
WUFT Midday.
As the government shutdown enters its second week, growing delays at airports are bringing the everyday effects into focus. This is WUFT Midday. I'm Adragna.
And I am Isabela Reinoso. Democrats insist there will be no deal to reopen the government unless Republicans negotiate over healthcare needs. And as Alice Barr reports, they are a surprising new ally in their corner.
More than a week into the federal government shutdown, real-world impacts are beginning to take hold, like this Georgia farmers market losing access to a now paused program that doubled SNAP food benefits for low-income families who rely on it.
Stretch their budgets to get more vegetables into their kids' diet.
While across the country, travelers starting to see delays pile up at a growing number of major airports because of staffing shortages. Air traffic controllers, already in short supply, have to work without pay in a shutdown, and some are calling out sick amid shutdown stress.
We've got houses, mortgages, car payments. They have to put food on the table. They're concerned they might not get a paycheck.
And while the controllers union is adamant there is no organized sick out.
Absolutely not.
A TSA local union president in Atlanta acknowledges some TSA agents had to work other jobs during the last extended shutdown.
Some of them did elect to do like Uber, DoorDash. Federal employees are feeling like pawns right now.
Hundreds of thousands more federal workers are home on furlough. And now President Trump is suggesting they might not receive back pay, despite a federal law that mandates it.
For the most part, we're going to take care of our people. There are some people that really don't deserve to be taken care of, and we'll take care of them in a different way.
Democrats vowing to fight that move while holding firm that health care provisions have to be part of a deal to reopen the government. Outspoken conservative Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene now agreeing, saying that without extended Obamacare subsidies, her adult children's insurance premiums will double. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
He had his day in court this morning, and he says he's not guilty. That was the plea he entered in a Virginia courtroom about 90 minutes ago. He was assigned on 2 felonies, making false statements to Congress and obstruction of a congressional proceeding. The Department of Justice alleges he lied to lawmakers about whether he authorized an FBI media leak. The charges were brought against him by a public campaign from the president to prosecute him. Many legal analysts say the case is so weak it never should have been filed.
I believe that Mr. Comey will ultimately be vindicated. I think there's going to be strong grand jury misconduct motions, vindictive prosecution motions, and selective prosecution motions.
The president is not a fan of Comey for investigating his 2016 campaign. Critics say the charges are revenge. Last month's video message from Comey strongly suggests that plea will mean not guilty.
The UF weather team says that you can put the umbrellas away for now, but it may be soon to pull out your jackets. UF Chief Meteorologist Tim Miller is live in the weather studio, timing out this week's cool down.
Luke, good to see you. And here we are. Looking outside, not bad. I mean, we're talking a few clouds, maybe a little bit of sunshine, but it's still feeling very summer-like. 86 our current temperature. Humidity in dew point fairly high as well. The dew point 73 degrees. Whenever we talk about a 70-plus degree dew point, it's a little sticky outside. Here's a look at radar, and you'll notice not a whole lot going on here at home. We have some showers along the East Coast. That's where we're going to head. There's flooding along the East Coast. We're going to talk about that, and it's not due to the rain, because you can tell that's not much to write home about, but it's the wind and sort of the flooding from the ocean we'll talk about. Notice the clouds started to increase in from the east. That's going to be the case throughout the day. Not going to rule out some showers today, but not a lot of heavy rain. It's this is what we're waiting for. That's the cold front that's going to move on through. That's going to bring some mighty big changes for us. So here's what we're watching. A few showers around today and certainly into Thursday. Clearing for Friday, turning cooler and less humid. And I'm going to tell you how cool it's going to be coming up in a few minutes. We'll talk about this coastal flooding as well in just short order. Guys, back to you.
The Alachua County Commission is tabling the discussion of extending funding for the Gainesville Community Reinvestment Area. The reinvestment area is supposed to sunset in 2029, but city leaders are looking for 20 more years. WFT's Emily Drelick reports county commissioners called a special meeting this week to get clarity on the city's vision for the GCRA.
1 decade, one mission.
The mechanics of the GCRA, it was predicated on a promise of 10 and done.
That was the plan put in place 6 years ago, but currently,
the city's request is to extend that
another 20 years. The Gainesville Community Reinvestment Area is a 10-year, $70 million partnership between the city of Gainesville and Alachua County. It focuses on 5 major projects. The promise, those projects would be done within the decade.
It was a city promise to do 10 years, $70 million, and a few very clear, very specified projects.
But those projects aren't on track.
As far as we can tell, that project is not moving forward.
County commissioners express frustration with the extension request and say they don't know where these projects stand.
What's left? What's left to do of the projects we've committed to, of the projects we've started?
The city says the GCRA is vital to Gainesville's growth. Projects like the Downtown Ambassadors, Citizens Field, and business improvement grants are all funded through the reinvestment area.
Those business improvement grant dollars have really helped to revive that area.
While commissioners made no commitment to the future of the GCRA, county and city leaders agree they'll continue to work together to improve life in Gainesville.
That was Emily Drelick reporting. We spoke with Commissioner Brian Eastman Tuesday. He says without this partnership, we wouldn't have the downtown we have today.
Downtown Gainesville's parking system is set to change yet again. More than 100 parking meters are being removed in areas throughout the city this week. Leaders decided to remove meters that weren't used often and replace them with passport parking. It believes the online and app-based payment system will make it easier for the city's upkeep. However, businesses like Here Again Records are unsure if this decision is the right one for locals.
Every time something comes up about the parking, it just seems like the city is like sticking the knife in even further, rather than, listening to the community. And the community has been very vocal about it.
To be clear, this doesn't mean parking restrictions will be lifted throughout downtown. The city plans on removing more than 100 parking meters in less used areas. 84 meters will remain, along with 6 pay stations.
Earlier this year, we brought you the story of North Central Florida's No Kings protest against executive overreach by the Trump administration. Now, No Kings 2.0 is being planned across the country. North Central Florida's protest is set for October 18th at Cora Robertson Park in Gainesville. Demonstrations will take place from 10 a.m. to noon, with speakers and musicians set to appear. The event is organized by various North Central Florida organizations, including Gainesville Women for Democracy and North Central Florida Indivisible.
The National Forest Service wants Marion County neighbors to be aware of U.S. Navy bombing training exercises in the Ocala National Forest throughout the week. The training, which is called inert bombing, involves replicate bombs that contain no explosive materials but simulate a live situation. The training is currently underway at the Pine Castle Range Complex. The training started Tuesday, and they're scheduled to end on Thursday.
Commissioners in Marion County have dedicated a county road to honor slain conservative activist Charlie Kirk. At Tuesday's commission meeting, the board also proclaimed October 14th as the official day of remembrance for Charlie Kirk. The board also approved a road dedication to him. Part of the County Road 475 will now bear his name. Commissioners say Kirk dedicated his life to promoting faith, family, freedom, and civic engagement. Kirk was shot and killed last month during his campus tour at Utah Valley University.
Gainesville's 2025 Walk to End Alzheimer's is set for this Saturday, October 11th. The walk is a nationwide effort to raise money for Alzheimer's care, support, and research efforts. You can register for the walk online on the Gainesville page of the Walk to End Alzheimer's website. You can also register day of at 9 a.m. with a ceremony at 10. The walk will begin 30 minutes later, and it'll take place at Trinity United Methodist Church. At last check, over $90,000 have been raised, and 610 participants are already signed up.
Local bookworms, we have some great news for you. Best-selling author James Patterson is coming to the University of Florida as part of the National Book Tour for his new release, Disrupt Everything and Win. Take control of your future. Patterson will be at Norman Hall Thursday from 7 to 8 p.m. Disrupt Everything is described as a bold playbook for thriving in the age of AI. The first 300 people to arrive will receive a free signed copy of this new release.
A hero dog is to thank for saving an elderly woman in the panhandle of Florida. The Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office released this video of the incident last month. It all began after the woman's husband called for police after she didn't return from her typical 10 to 15-minute walk. A deputy then began driving down the road and found the family's wandering pup named Eeyore. That's when the dog promptly led the deputy to the injured 86-year-old. The woman had fallen during the walk, and she says the dog kept returning to her, and she was very proud to hear of the dog's hero instincts.
Well, we have temperatures in the 80s. How long will this last for daytime highs? We'll talk about it coming up.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Taking a live look at the roads and skies over I-75 in Alachua County, you can see traffic is flowing smoothly and the skies are beautiful on this Wednesday afternoon. UF Chief Meteorologist Tim Miller is live in the weather studio. Tim, you're tracking a cold front heading to north central Florida.
Indeed we are, and we just can't wait for it. Come on, whatever you need to do to get here, right? In the meantime, temperatures are in the 80s, 86 Gainesville, 84 Jacksonville, 81 St. Augustine. That's because we have that easterly wind, and there's a big old storm going to blow up there. We'll talk about that coming up in just a moment. Wind gusts really aren't as gusty as they were yesterday. I mean, you're talking about 16 miles per hour in Jacksonville, 15 down to Daytona. Not too bad, but certainly causing some issues, enough to where there's some possible flooding, not really because of the rain, because of the waves coming on shore. So that coastal flooding certainly is an issue, not only from Jacksonville, but further down towards the south. That's a flood warning for parts of Volusia County. We'll continue to go south all the way down to Miami. So we have a coastal flood advisory all up and down the East Coast because of the wind pushing the waves on shore. In fact, lots of Daytona Beach was more Daytona than beach yesterday. So some showers coming on in, and I think they're going to eke their way west, and I mean just a handful of showers at best. We'll go a little bit closer and take a look at these showers. They're pretty much along the East Coast, but this is what we really want to talk about right at the moment, and that is Jerry. Jerry is 2,300 miles away from us. We're talking about it. It's really no concern for us, really, frankly, at this point, as it remains well out to sea, which is certainly good news. We'll zoom in a little bit closer. You can see some little spikes here. That's a great indication of wind shear, so it really doesn't have its act together, but it will, according to the Hurricane Center. And here's how it goes. There is the track. It will remain out to sea. High pressure is going to keep that thing off towards the east of us, as well as a cold front that'll move on through, and that'll be a whole different story. So here is Futurecast. We'll start this afternoon. Everything looks fine. Here comes the front. As the front sort of makes its way towards the south, you notice we'll have these showers that will pop. Low pressure develops off the coast of Jacksonville and heads north. That's going to be a major nor'easter for our friends in the north. There's the low. For us, it'll clear the skies out and we'll have some big temperature changes. Tonight, overnight, maybe some patchy fog. Temperatures around 69. Tomorrow's Thursday, 85 in Gainesville, 85 Ocala. Notice the sun and clouds and just a few showers in there. That's with the front that's sort of hanging about. So it's not a lot of rain, even though we could use a decent amount of rain. So this weekend, take a look at this. 80 Saturday, 82 on Sunday. Cooler temperatures and less humidity in the air. Here's a look at our 7-day forecast. Take a look at those overnight low temperatures. Your eyes do not deceive you. We're talking 50s, 58 degrees, 59 degrees, and those daytime temperatures into the low 80s. That'll feel nice with the low humidity. A little warmer by the time we get the next week, but still all in all below normal, which will be a nice reprieve from the summertime heat. That's your forecast.
One of the biggest groups of people impacted by tariffs have been soybean farmers. And as Ethan Kramer reports, it's not directly because of U.S. tariffs, but because of what China did in response.
Soybean farmers in North Dakota are feeling the brunt of the ongoing U.S.-China trade war.
These prices don't work, so yeah, how long can you survive that?
Mark Watney is the North Dakota Farmers Union president. Watney resides in Fargo but farms north of Velva near Minot. He tells me farmers are feeling the uncertainty of what's next.
They're very concerned and very uneasy because we have become a non-trusting, unreliable supplier.
Farmers may have to sell crops at a loss because of retaliatory tariffs placed on by China. In 2024, North Dakota ranked number 4 in the U.S. in total soybean acres planted and harvested. For this year's crop, the U.S.'s biggest buyer, China, has yet to buy a single soybean.
If China cannot buy any beans from us, we will stockpile them beans here as we either crush them in the U.S. or we find other markets. You can't replace that Chinese market with any other markets in the world.
As the trade war continues, Watney had this message.
We've never seen a trade war work. It always ends up costing the consumer and the farmer. We've never seen that work.
In Fargo, Ethan Kramer, Valley News Live.
The White House is planning to implement some sort of aid package to help American soybean farmers.
It sounds crazy, but the microwave is celebrating its 80th birthday today. October 8th marks when defense contractor Raytheon patented the popular appliance. It was invented by a man named Percy Spencer. He was working on radio and radar equipment, and while experimenting with a magnetron, he noticed the melted Payday candy bar in his pocket. After some tweaking, the microwave oven was born. But it was huge and expensive, and the tech sat mostly unused. It wasn't until 1967 when Amana, which was owned by Raytheon at the time, shrunk it down to the tabletop size.
Domino's Pizza is serving up a brand new look. The popular pizza brand is launching a major takeover Wednesday. It includes a new logo, brighter colors, new uniforms, and redesigned pizza boxes. The relaunch also comes with a brand new jingle performed by country artist Shabuzi. Executives say the changes are designed to grab attention on social media. Domino's say the rebrand will expand to markets around the world starting in November.
Costco can help customers drop some pounds even if you guys are trying food samples as you shop. The retailer is selling weight loss drugs Ozempic and Wegovy at lower prices. The drug maker is selling its medications at Costco pharmacies for $499. That's less than half the total price when the products are bought elsewhere. Wegovy and Ozempic are appetite suppressants which cause people to eat less and in most cases lose weight as a result. The drugs are prescribed for patients with type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and obesity.
5 personas fueron detenidas este martes en Ecuador por un presunto intento de asesinato contra el presidente Daniel Noboa. El mandatario resultó ileso. La ministra de Energía informó que el convoy fue rodeado por unas 500 personas cuando el presidente viajaba hacia Cañar. Según el bloque presidencial, el vehículo presentó varios daños de bala. Los detenidos enfrentarán cargos de terrorismo e intento de asesinato. El ataque ocurre en medio de protestas por la eliminación del subsidio al diésel y el estado de emergencia en 10 provincias. Noboa mantuvo su agenda y advirtió que la ley aplica para todos. El premio Nobel es el premio más prestigioso en el mundo. Ayer anunciaron los 9 ganadores. En el premio de física han reconocido a John Clark, Michael Deverett y John Martini por su trabajo en efectos cuánticos. En el premio de química han acreditado a Susumu Kitagawa, Richard Robson y a Omar Yai en el desarrollo de estructuras metálicas orgánicas. En el premio de medicina han reconocido a Mary Bronco, Fred Ramsdale y Shimon Sakaguchi por su trabajo en la tolerancia humanitaria. Los ganadores en literatura, ciencias económicas y paz todavía no han sido revelados. Y ahora, en el Mundial Sub-20 disputado en Chile, entra en modo eliminación. Tras una fase de grupos con Argentina líder y Colombia clasificándose con solidez defensiva, Paraguay avanzó como segundo y ahora los 3 sudamericanos van hacia la ansiada Copa. En los octavos de final, como podemos ver acá, Colombia enfrentará a Sudáfrica, Argentina a Nigeria y Paraguay a Noruega. Duelo a un todo o nada rumbo a los cuartos de final en Santiago. México, de la mano de la figura del torneo hasta ahora, Gilberto Mora, de 16 años, ya aseguró su lugar tras una goleada al anfitrión Chile 4-1 y espera un siguiente rival en la siguiente ronda junto a España.
This is Anthony Herrera with your Midday Sports. The Gators had a big weekend against SEC rival Texas. There's a shift in the locker room and in their confidence moving forward.
I think that their confidence didn't waver because they've experienced success. They played against these teams. We've been really close against some of the best teams in the country. We've won a few and then we've lost a couple close ones.
With another tough matchup against number 6 ranked Texas A&M this Saturday, Florida will look for another upset. Florida volleyball dropped out of the top 25 for the first time since 1991. This comes after a loss in the 5th set to LSU.
You are what your record says, so we're going to have to find a way to win some of those tight ones. And twice this year we've given up significant leads in a set. That we've got to fix that if we're going to, be in the top tier of the league.
The Gators dropped out of the top 25 this week after their second SEC loss. The Gators are now 7-6. The next matchup will host number 25 this Friday against Missouri. High school volleyball was in action last night. Hawthorne faced Fort White and Oak Hall went against Lafayette. It was Fort White's senior night as Hawthorne looked to lower the fever, but Hawthorne couldn't bring down the temps and were dominated. They lost in all 3 sets. Unfortunately, this makes it Hawthorne's 21st loss of the season. Against Lafayette, Oak Hall had a strong showing. The Eagles win in all 3 sets. The record is now 11-11 on the season. And that's your Midday Sports. I'm Anthony Herrera.
Now let's take a look at what's coming up on Channel 5 at First at 5.
First up, we're following the updates from the Alachua County School Board meeting from last night after the Florida Commission of Education visited, calling out the board for not putting students first. Then a 15-second high trend is on the rise and impacting teenagers in Florida. We're speaking to families impacted by the trend and law enforcement officers on how to stay safe. All this and more coming up on First at 5.
You all tired of the heat?
I'm tired of it. Obviously,
Okay.
it's hot right now, but I think last night I got my first taste of fall. I woke up this morning and my car was covered in these weird yellow leaves.
Wow.
Yeah.
That may be the only fall you see. How about that? No, you'll see a little bit more fall for sure. So brush those leaves off, whatever they are. It's just the beginning because this forecast is proof in the pudding here. A shower or two today. I'd keep that about 30%. Notice 85. 80 on, I should say for Thursday. Notice 80 by Friday, right? That's when the front will be pretty much on top of us. Better chance of some showers. The 80 on Saturday will be totally different. Lower humidity. Notice those overnight lows, 60s, and then by the weekend, upper 50s. In fact, some of us may see some mid 50s. So that certainly is some fall there for sure. And we'll keep those temperatures in the low 80s, given low humidity as well.
Thanks for joining us for WFT Midday. We're back here tomorrow for another edition.
We will see you later today for First at 5 on Channel 5. Have a great afternoon.